you want to come and see my vestry?
We've got time.
We've got fucking time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, listen. Do you want to come and see my vestry?
We've got time.
Of course we've got fucking time.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Hello, Tony. Could you tell us a little bit about... your role in this film?
Yes, I play the role of the priest who is a little bit of a guy on edge. He's pretty much a borderline psychopath.
Hiya, my name's Matthew Cooper. I'm the writer and director of Markham, The Mountains of Madness, and When the Earth Gives Up the Dead.
I'm sorry, can we do this another time?
Now, the police have seized all the footage, so now there's only you and the rest of the cast that are aware of actually went on during the filming. So, is there anything you'd like to say about the things that you've seen on set that they've been reported in the press, but no one knows exactly what?
That's it, keep going straight line. Stop the vision, you've seen from that.
The man died. I think the family deserve answers.
I think it's really easy to start pointing fingers.
And there've been some pretty serious allegations about the effects these films have had on people. What do you say to those allegations?
No comment.
Brilliant. Cynthia, can you get Kevin on the phone and just make sure that Tony gets something extra for this, yeah? Seriously, I have no idea what to do here. Therapist.
Yeah. I can rewrite the ending. I know what to do, and I know how to rewrite the ending.
He's gone out the window. Have we got anybody outside? Has anybody got eyes on him? Anyone? Team 3? Team 3, you there?
My vestry.
We've got time.
We've got fucking time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm have to write a whole fucking vestry thing here.
Suffering from mission creep now, come on.
Yeah, and 3, 2, 1, and action.
What the fuck? No, I went too slow.
I was driving. I was the director, the cameraman, and the driver.
Oi! Director!
Great stuff. And Matthew Cooper's got a reputation of being an unusual style of filmmaker. Can you tell us a little bit more about what it's like to work on a Matthew Cooper film?
Oi! Director!
He's ballsy. Certainly, you know, a lot of directors that I've worked with in my other projects, they have a plan and they kind of stick to it. With Markham, it was very much experimental. Let's see how it goes, David Lynch. I would probably say for Madness, Markham was interesting. He went down the Terrence Malick route, meant, let's not bother having a script and we're just going to go off the fly, which was interesting because I'd never done a film before without any kind of script, so it was pure improv. But I also found it really, really helpful because it did improve my improv skills in future projects that I had to do after that. So I actually welcomed that challenge. Sometimes you think to yourself, well, hang on, where is this in the story? Madness, there was a little bit more of a script compared to Markham, and then obviously this has been the biggest structure of the script that we've had. But he's still taking risks. I like it because sometimes when you improv or take risks, some beautiful things come out of it. So other directors that like to storyboard it and all that and stick to things word for word, which is fine. But I think Matthew's style, directing style, it gives you a chance to get the character more and more freedom in your performance as well. So I actually quite enjoy it. It's new for me, but I enjoy it.
I have been chosen. Reinside myself to them. Oh, hell. The stars boy. Oh, bastard. I give myself to them. I become part of this thing. I become part of them.
And then 2019, what happened is I got a few original scripts out there that weren't selling. It just gets really frustrating after a while that you write this original work, it goes out there. You know, I've worked on some great projects. There's a script called Hot Knife, which is based on a novel by an author from Leeds, which I love that script. And you know, it went to Channel 4 again. It's just really hard to get anything off the ground in the UK film industry. And I was coming up to 45, and I just thought, you got in this to start with as a director. And I thought, I'm 45, I want to direct something. And I knew if I wrote a really good script.
Perfect. Are we ready when Matt stops talking?
Run out of wine there.
That what I'd end up doing is try and sell the script and I wouldn't direct it. So I had this crazy idea. I know a couple of actors, Ashe Russell, I know Tony Coughlan, I know Gareth and Dan, and I thought I'm going to shoot something without a script. So that's how Markham came into being. Markham was shot entirely without a script. Literally, me and Ashe just started talking in front of the camera. And then gradually, over a period of maybe 6 to 9 months, we built a narrative just out of these random scenes we shot. I used to drive actors out to Staves. I remember driving Tony Coughlan out to Staves to try and do something Lovecraftian and something to do with Shadow over Innsmouth, because that's what Staves looks like to me. And we went out there and we sat on the seafront for about 4 hours. just rolling, with the camera rolling, just going through all these variations. And I ended up acting in it as well, because obviously I'm the director and I'm available as an actor as well. So what happened is that became a huge thing. Jazz? Jasmine! So what happened is that Markham became a huge effort to even get it to work. There was a 120-minute cut at one point, and it was, a couple of people have pointed out, it was a bit David Lynch. It was, and then gradually, you can't see any of these. I've got about 3 of these big, massive gaming computers that I edit on. So the whole thing, though, the equipment, the everything, we owned and bought. And we were working on one edit PC, and then the final cut of Markham, literally the PC was crashing, and I had to get it off. That was the Markham that got released was the last thing I could get off a PC that was dying. And I could see the PC dying. It was going on the hard drive, and if that PC had died, Markham would have gone, and most of the footage would have gone as well. I didn't know what I was doing, backing footage up and things like that. So we released it. We got somebody to do. We got a lady contacted me on the internet. She did the score. Markham was a bit of a mess, but there was bits to it, and there were a lot of ideas in there. But as I say, it was all made up. The whole thing was made up. There was no script, and we cut something together. And I thought, I've directed something, so we released it. We sold it through my website, through Vimeo, and off it went. And then the pandemic hit, and I had screenwriting work, but I also thought, I want to experiment more with special effects, so we threw in, green screen, and we started. And action.
This is a beautiful church. That spire. It's really impressive.
Aye. If you're into that kind of thing,
Started very early looking at Unreal Engine, and we shot at the Mountains of Madness at the height of the pandemic. I wasn't in the room when Tony and Ashe were giving their performances. That's how it was designed. It was much closer to the Lovecraft, and it did have a script, but just not an ending. At the Mountains of Madness, the story doesn't really have a suitable ending, so we sort of vibed it out towards the end. And then what happened is we moved on to When the Earth Gives Up the Dead, which again did have a script, but not fully realised. And what I've learned talking to other directors and other people is that if you're shooting something and you can actually stop halfway through and have a 2-week break and rethink it, that's a really good idea. Now, of course, in normal film production you can't do that. The script's got to be set in stone, and you go ahead and you shoot it.
I think being on set surrounded by so many things I could just break accidentally. Should this be here?
And what we've done with all three of these films, which are like a loosely connected trilogy, Markham, at the Mountains of Madness, and When the Earth Gave Up the Dead, we've called the Sekurig Trilogy. I'll tell you why in a second. And what we did with all of them is that we've had a script, at least on the third one, where we've learned the most, When the Earth Gives Up the Dead, we had a script, and we rewrote it, and then we'd have a break, and then we'd shoot some more. So When the Earth Gives Up the Dead did have a bit more of a budget. We had a couple of thousand to get people in hotels and get people fed, and we had a big studio that we could hire, and that all worked a lot better, but we still shot the majority of When the Earth Gives Up the Dead in about 4 days, which is tremendously hard work for the actors. It's exhausting for me. Not only am I the director, I'm the driver, I'm the cameraman, I'm the DP, scriptwriter, and actor in some instances. So we shot all these really quickly and we put them together. Largely, it's been a massive learning experience, and suddenly, again bizarrely, it's given me a track record as a director.
Yeah, well actually, until I read the script for this one, I didn't realise I had been playing the same character in all three. But what we've managed to do, what Matthew's managed to do with this script is sort of really bring out the fact that the Nathan character is more of a chameleon, that at different times and different circumstances he is quite very different people.
And these have been released chiefly online, but the real films, and they've been made at the height of the pandemic, and I've had lots of interest from people wanting to distribute them, but we've done it our own way. And from this, we're going to use these 3 films as a platform to go on to bigger and better work, but also smaller work as well, in that we can shoot a feature film very cheaply, very lo-fi. We can release it online. I've got other projects lined up now. I've got me, Ashe and Tony are going to do a proper version of Shadow over Innsmouth, which is set to shoot in November and release in 2023.
Those tires just so much better.
Yeah. Can I? Do I feel responsible? Yeah, maybe I do. I mean, at least in part. I've worked with the guy for, well,